All right, here we are again. Let's see if we can get into YouTube here just to see what's going on. Okay, I think we are live. I think it's working. I think I have to get the chat working now. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see. Chat is disabled. Chat should not be disabled right now. Maybe I refresh. Hello, everyone. I see you all joining. Thank you very much for being here. I can't see the chat. How do I wish I knew how this all worked before we started. All right. Okay. Ah, I see. Okay. Right. So let's have a look here. I think what we can do is take the code. Bear with me. I will do this next time before we start. All right. So you can see me on the screen. I think it all works. The audio, let me check my audio levels. The audio levels are fine. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so something has come. Let me just say hello to everyone who's coming in here from what I can see. Marco, thanks for being here. Chaka, Jorge, Jam, Nick, Apple. Nick, do I have sound? I should have sound. Thanks for commenting, OJ. Thanks for that. Isaac. Topher. Turn up the snare. I can't hear the snare. You can't hear me. My audio is perfect, but the problem is, here's the deal. You have, let me guess, you've got your right earphone in. Only the right one. Put the left one in. I'll be there. For some reason, I can't figure it out why my mic is only recording to one side. Maybe it's something to do with the back of it. Yeah, my audio is left only. Again, every stream I do will be the worst stream for a while. Every stream I do, I will get better. So that's an element I will continue. This is all in. I am using OBS. Can you help me, Casey? Can you help me? So I'm going to go to my audio, the 3 buttons on the audio, advanced properties. Oh my goodness. No, it's got mono on there. It's got mono. Like it's not mono isn't selected. I get the snare. I get the snare line there. Yeah, I've got the mixer, and I've pulled up the look. Oh, I can't pull it onto the screen. I've got the mixer. I've got the mono boxes are not checked. Hello. Yeah, nothing's changing there. I'll get started. I'll get started. I'll figure this out. I'll go onto YouTube. But thanks for trying to help me. Okay, so let's do this. I want to address the controversy, the comments. Because yesterday we did the live stream, the first live stream. In that stream, we decided, and as will be the case for a lot of the live streams that we do in the future, and for today, that we will react to things that are happening in the social sphere, on YouTube, in the news, on Twitter. Like, that's the point of all of this. The point of this is to see what's happening, see what people are actually watching and engaging with, and then give my take on it. Now, I said something a little bit earlier about my performance on these live streams. The first live stream we do is going to be the worst live stream we do. The audio was all messed up. I have to kind of like understand what my tone is going to be moving forward. And I realized I came off slightly too, maybe it sounded critical. I have some thoughts on this as well, though. Maybe it was a little bit critical, and maybe people who really like Zach Rector or Brad Kimes or the other guys, maybe you kind of felt like I was being critical of them and therefore critical of you. It's not the case. Really not the case. What I want from these streams is to be myself, express my own thoughts and feelings. And if that is not exactly the way things line up with you, or even the way things lined up with me even just like 2 years ago, that can be okay, because people can change over time. People can adapt their thoughts. And this all really made me think, right? If you look across the whole landscape of all of the crypto influencers, right? And especially in the XRP space, let's look at, and I'm not throwing shade at any one of these people. Okay, I want to preface all of this. Everyone I've met is great. And I'm talking about people that I've met. These are all fantastic people. Brad Kimes does the same thing over and over and over again. Versan and Black Swan Capitalist do the same thing over and over and over again. Coach JV does the same thing over and over and over again. Zach Rector does the same thing over and over and over again. And that's absolutely fine. But for me, the way I want to be extraordinary. I want to be extraordinary. I want to achieve something extra than the ordinary. So I'll ask the question, if I am to achieve something extraordinary, should I do what everyone else is doing? The answer is no. I need to be myself. I need to find a new way. Like, you've seen on my channel, look back over the last 4 years of my channel, I have changed up so many times. Like the way that I'm delivering it. I try these types of videos. I try a documentary video. I try ultra high production, ultra low production. I'm trying everything because I want to be different. And so this time I try to be different again. I'm putting it all on the line. I put everything on the table. I risk everything. I've got a family that rely on me for finances and stuff. I've got a business that I love and I want to grow. I put it all on the line every time I do something like this. But I'm doing something like this because I don't want what everyone else has. I want something more. If I want something more, if I want extraordinary, I have to do something extra to the ordinary. Now, there's a great point that's been raised in the chat here. You need consistency, though. Absolutely. If there's anything I'm lacking, it's the consistency. I need to try something and do it for a long time. I do. I absolutely do. I take that. I'm aware. Thank you. So the way I feel about it is at least I'm trying something. I'm entertaining other ideas. I'm trying to think not inside the echo chamber that can exist. I'm trying to see other sides, and I'm coming to my own conclusions. I'm not making anyone else's conclusions. Everything you see on this channel is my thoughts and my feelings. And so this really came to light. Truly came to light. I'm going to show it to you here. I was on the Paul Barron podcast. Let's just search it up here before I bring it up. I was on the XRP podcast by Paul Barron, and I'm going to switch over here. Right, is my audio the same over here? I think it is the same over here. So I was on this podcast. Paul Barron, wonderful guy. His team are incredible. It's amazing, amazing people. Really, truly professionals. So I look on this. We're back here on this video, and I do urge you, please do go and watch this episode, because I think it will reveal something quite interesting about the people that are creating a lot of the hate in this space. Okay, I have a conversation with Paul for about 50 minutes. I say, this is for me when I look at my performances online. This is one of my best performances. My ideas are succinct. I'm rational, level-headed. I'm speaking from a point of I've been in this for so long, and I've accumulated this information, and I've created my own thoughts about this topic, and I can speak about them well. I did it all in this podcast. And when you scroll down, Paul, do not bring this guy Lewis on your show. He's a flip-flopper on XRP. Also, don't bring Crypto Airy. She's another flip-flopper. Lewis has lost any and all relevance concerning XRP years ago. Not going to bother to listen. Not even going to give me a chance to listen to my rational outlook. Sorry, Paul, do better. Obviously, I'm saying thank you for Paul because I thought his team were absolutely amazing. I stopped listening to Lewis, unsubbed from his channel and the newsletter because he went from being positive on XRP and giving really good information, and even went explaining how utility and demand can drive the price up. Then one day he started telling everyone to sell XRP and take profits. Oh my goodness, how evil of me. While you still can, because it's an S coin and probably won't go over $10. The dude did a full 180. It's like he unlearned all of his research. What on earth is this person talking about? Bad guest to have on, Paul. Lewis is a clown. So on and so forth. And there's some of Paul's guests are irrelevant about XRP. They don't even like it. Why are they taking part in an XRP podcast? The guest doesn't seem to be too informed. Anyway, so you can look, can't say he doesn't deserve it. Okay, so with all of that, considering there's nothing I said in this video that was actually even anti-XRP. I'm pro XRP. So let's address it right here, right? My portfolio as it stands, let me just give this to everyone. My portfolio as it stands is 80% XRP. You have the likes of Blockchain Backer, who I hear has sold a big portion of his XRP already. I haven't sold any XRP. I don't understand. I don't understand what people are saying when they're talking about me flip-flopping. Now, what I can understand is that I've had a change in opinion that I don't believe these $50,000 price points are going to happen for a multitude of reasons. And I think, having a $10 to $11 XRP is absolutely incredible. I haven't flip-flopped. That's the last thing I've done. So I want to show you here kind of how I visualize this, because I previously I would have been very, very caught up about these comments, but I really think I've graduated. I've graduated caring, because the people that are leaving me those comments, you can don't watch me. Go away. You're not help. We all want. I want this podcast and the things I do to be positive. I'm a positive person. So let me explain how I view this, right? So you've got, let's try and get this nice and thick so we can see it. So you've got right over here, this is XRP Maxi. Okay. Oh my goodness. Typing with a trackpad. This is XRP Maxi. This is the scheme of things, right? This is someone anti-XRP. So I'll put a negative XRP. This is what I would say if you go from XRP Maxi, then you go to completely against XRP. That is the definition of a flip-flop. Here is center. Here is neutral. This is where this is set, like you're neither here or there for XRP. I would say I'm like here. This is me. I have 80% of my portfolio in XRP and 98% of my entire net worth in crypto. The people that are here view this person, me, as the enemy. I'm just highlighting this from like a bird's eye view because how ridiculous is that? It's crazy. What are they talking about? And it's the same politically, right? If you're like a ultra far left, nose ring, blue hair type of person, and you meet someone who's left of center, they're almost as good as a MAGA hat wearing person to you. Like that's crazy to me. The difference between this Maxi and me is that I don't believe it's going to be $50,000. Like, how is that a flip-flop? Now, if the comment on flip-flops is me changing my opinion, yes, I have developed as a person. I have molded what I know of the world and made my determination based on that. I'm not following the crowd. So anyway, I'm trying to, with all of that, I know I'm seeing the comments about me a bit being sensitive to comments. Perhaps I am. If you would get hundreds of negative comments about you all the time, then you might be a little bit sensitive. But I also view this whole thing as I'm graduated caring, because this video, this Paul Barron podcast, and the reception of it in the comments, clearly no one listened to the video. Like I'm just like, you're not my type of person. Everyone has, yeah, exactly, Alex. Everyone has their own opinion. And I see a comment about a flip-flop. I'll get to that in a second, but it's insane. I feel like the proof is in the pudding with like how I feel about XRP. All of my portfolio basically is XRP. I haven't sold any. There's people that you know that are pro XRP that have sold XRP already. Like, what are you talking about? So please, if you're here and you're not willing to hear a slightly different side, geez, look, a slightly different angle, then please, like, you don't need to be here. So RDH, go watch your earlier videos. You said you'll never have to sell, not even at $1,000, but then you switched on your community and said that it's going to $11 and to sell. That's a flip-flop. I don't believe it's a flip-flop. I think I can understand why somebody at the Maxi side would believe that's a flip-flop, because what you're looking at there is this is the difference between holding forever and never selling and selling some. That's not a flip-flop in the scale of things, certainly about XRP. That's a philosophy change. Because I can think that XRP, it's possible, right, that XRP gets to these high numbers, right? I can still entertain the idea that XRP can get into the hundreds of dollars. I still entertain it. That's fine. My philosophical change has been, I don't need the price to go up that high, because meaning for me in my life, a meaningful amount of wealth for me in my life doesn't require that price point. I'm not here for Lambos and Ferraris and stuff. I don't need 10 million, $100 million or anything. I need enough to make me feel like my life has been meaningful enough. So that's where I stand. RDH, you know you're right, and you earned a ton of money saying how high it's going to go. Then once you bought a huge bag of XRP, told everyone it's actually going to $11. That's all I need. If you think I earned a lot of money in this, take a look at everyone else still doing that narrative, and ask yourself, why are they still pumping videos out like that, and how much longer have they done it? I'm just over this, and certainly I'm a lot more. My philosophical and spiritual view on everything has changed, absolutely. So if you wanna say I flip flopped on that, then yeah, absolutely I have. And also I don't need the negativity in here. So if that will continue, I'll just remove you. I don't need it. You have your opinion, that's fine, but it's also my community, and I can control it. You've said your views on Linear and Swift. I haven't even commented on Linear, so you're talking, that's rubbish. And you're and you're wrong, because Swift, they're like, the stable coins are the neutral asset, the neutral bridge. You have to understand, stable coins do the settlement. Stablecoins can do the settlement. That's why they're being adopted. Just because you say, oh, we need stablecoins, but they still need to be settled, there needs to be a bridge. No, they are the bridge. That's the point. So what, Vendetta? So I can explain like why I'm not 50k bullish for XRP. No, I commented on Swift. I didn't comment on Linear. So and that's part of it, right? So I've been here. I was hearing from lots of people in the financial world that the world is moving towards stablecoins, and when I heard that, I was like, okay, what does that even mean? And then I for some reason I thought, wait, Ripple. Why did Ripple get a stablecoin? Why was that part of their priority? Why wasn't it just XRP products like RippleNet, for example? So I was thinking, why would you go into CBDCs and stablecoins? And then I thought, why would you go into CBDCs? Wait, why are these other things that you're moving into, like tokenization? And the point of them moving into these areas, it kind of was a revelation to me, that it's not because it's not because they just want to like fill in their time. It's because there is financial incentive to do so, like real financial incentive. They're going to make a stable coin because it fits into the infrastructure of everything moving forward. They're reading the room, like, oh, everything's moving to stable coins. We need to participate in this. So why would they be involved with tokenization? Why CBDCs? Well, it's because they want to participate as a business in all of this. And if XRP was for sure going to be like the 50k price point, there's really very little incentive from a business perspective for them to do these other things, because they hold a bunch of XRP that would go up. It would make the most successful business in history. Ripple would be the most successful in history by far, like double, triple any other company that's ever existed, if they just held their XRP and waited for that price. So that's kind of, when I saw that, and then I started to research stable coins, and then Swift comes out and is like, oh, stable coins. All of the companies that are operating, they're trying to create these tokens that act as stable coins, as neutral bridges. And I just realized that the governments and financial institutions, they're mostly going to choose these stable coins. Now, there are, and I still believe there's growth for XRP. because I think XRP plays a perfect role in these tight corridors where there's lack of trust in the dollar. So you need a bridge asset that's not a stable coin pegged to the dollar. So people are going to choose another asset, and I think the best one, most equipped for it, is XRP. If you have XRP doing these transfers for these small corridors in this situation where stablecoins are taking the majority of the load from the transaction standpoint, you still get like a $30 XRP. And if you were buying XRP at 30 cents, which I know loads of you were, $30 XRP is like 100x. Like for almost everyone, 100x is life-changing. So that was part of my shift. So let's see. I don't know. Anyway, I want to be happy. I want to enjoy these. I don't want to feel like I'm like arguing all the time. But this is why I've just had to address it all here, because I needed a long form way of doing this. Because it's I'm seeing these comments. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm realizing there's just a misalignment. Like, I'm not that person's type of person, and you're not my type of person. And if I just say what I think and what I believe to be true, the right people will be here. That's where I'm landing with all of this. So I will mod you up. Let me just find my way over. I need to find my way to the stream so I can get into the chat and mod you. If you would be so kind as to I don't mind if people like have their thoughts once or twice. But if it starts bleeding into the community, like, yeah, I think I've stated a very rational case here, and if there's no one on board with rationality, then the mod can do their thing. Yeah, Stu. So if you think I'm not being authentic, then we're not vibing. We're not the same. Yeah, and like, absolutely, look, healthy debate is absolutely fine, and it should, and I welcome the debate, but no one seems to come back with me with a decent argument with what I'm saying. It's just like, oh no, I feel sad because you don't want a 50k. I don't want a 50k XRP, or I don't think there's gonna be a 50k XRP. Okay. So what's the argument? Jan Cheng, the mod. If you don't want to be mod, I can take you off. Just confirm if you want to be there or not. I don't want to put you in a position you don't want to be in. Okay, so with all of that said, we're going to get into some things that have happened and kind of give some thoughts on everything. Jordan, did I drop you? Like, why are you mad at me? I mean, look, I'll reinstate you, Jordan. I didn't realize I'd done something wrong. I'm unreliable as a mod. Okay, no worries. I'll take you off. Jordan, I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe Jordan's not here anymore. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I don't know what's happened, Jordan. Right, I'm having a hard time determining who's on whose side, so I'm just going to carry on with what I'm doing. So let's get into it. So I saw this about Brandon Larocque. And he got big time, not scammed or hacked or something. I've heard about this, and I thought let's react to it, because I think if we're reacting to it, then we're spreading awareness for it. And this seems like a really bad deal, and it seems like it happened to a really good guy. So let's see this. I haven't watched this yet.
Hi. This is my second try at this video. I've never done one before, so I couldn't get it record the volume at first. My name is Brandon. I live in North Carolina. It's my first video, and the reason I'm doing it, I would have never believed in my whole life. Never thought I'd be doing a YouTube video. Never thought I'd be doing a YouTube video about this. I'll give you a big part at first, and I'll explain what happened. I've been in crypto since 2017. I've been accumulating XRP for the past 8 years. I've accumulated over 1.2 million XRP, which is worth over $3 million now. I had it on a cold wallet. It's called an LA Pal cold wallet, and I thought I did all the things right. I didn't write down. I wrote down my seed phrase. I kept it safe. I don't give it to anybody over the phone. I don't answer phone calls like that. I thought I did a pretty good job. I'm not the most computer literate, but I think I was pretty above average. About a year ago, I retired. My wife and I retired. We were planning on moving out to Las Vegas and buying a house. We was actually supposed to go look at one next week. This morning I woke up and all my XRP's been stolen. Been hacked.
He's recording this like right after it's happened as well. Holy moly, that's a lot. We'll see how this happened then.
I don't check my wallet every day. I watch the price 24 hours a day, but I don't check my wallet every day. And I guess the last time I checked it was Saturday, and I checked it this morning at 4:30, and it looks like on Sunday morning somebody removed 10 XRP, then they removed 2 minutes later, it's around 11:15 Eastern time, they removed 10 XRP, and then a couple minutes later they removed another 1,990,000 XRP. They sent it to one wallet that had just been created a few minutes earlier, and then they turned around and sent all that 1,290,000, they sent it out to about 30 different wallets. They sent it out, some in groups of 40,000, some in groups.
Yeah, so there's like a cleaning process that can take place. This is like heartbreaking. There's a cleaning process that happens where you can go to this. There's like a website. It's like a cleaner. They even have XRP cleaners, where it will just create like 50 different wallets, maybe even more, and just get that one transaction, that whole amount through these different wallets, and then those wallets will distribute again to more wallets, and then they'll all tie back into a singular wallet at the end. But trying to trace that journey and trying to find the wallets is like impossible. It's impossible to see where it goes, and it's like laundering money, but in crypto.
38,000 of different wallets, and then when it went to those wallets, they sent it out to more wallets. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't get an exact count, but I guess it's somewhere between 500 and 900 wallets. I guess it's called mixing or something, is my understanding. Um, I haven't slept all night. That's why I'm probably not making a whole lot of sense. The reason I'm doing this video is because I follow people like DAI and Digital Perspectives and James Rule and all those guys. I follow all those guys. Love them. They do a great job. And DAI and Digital Perspectives have really been talking. And I know that, you know, they get paid, but they're also clients. But they're right. We have to have custody. I mean, I don't have anything with Caleb Brown. I've never even know anything about him. I just know what I heard on there. I don't have any crypto to custody with them anymore because I just lost it all. On that wallet, I had a little bit of XLM, about $1,000 worth. I don't know why they left that. I had a couple of different things, like a little bit of Flare, maybe about $900 worth of Flare, and a couple of things like that I got in airdrops. And they left that, but they took the big boy. I mean, they left about $2,800 worth of crypto, and then they took about $3 million.
Oh, I can hear it in his voice. You can hear it in his voice. He's like, this is the second time he tried to film this, he said. He said something there about we need to have custody. Well, if you have an Elipal wallet, isn't that self custody? I think the issue is self custody. And he rightly mentioned Caleb and Brown there, because it's the obvious best thing to do to have institutional. For me, it's that I am happy to entrust personally. I'm happy to entrust an institutional grade custody company. I'm happy for that to happen. Because I trust them more than I trust like my house to be, because my house could be, robbed or something. That no one can rob Caleb and Brown, and if that did happen, there's an insurance policy there via Fireblocks and stuff. Like there's really no problem, and you can't get hacked from Caleb and Brown because you can only send to verified wallets in your Caleb and Brown account. So it's really, at this point, with all the scams happening, and I get emails all the time from people who say, I've just got scammed, what do I do? It's really terrible. Man, it must be. I've heard. I don't like hearing this, because I get phone calls as well from people who have this happen. You can hear them crying on the phones. Like, I've been in those phone calls. It's terrible.
Retirement for my wife and I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we're going to go back to work. I mean, fortunately, I did diversify into some metals, which thank God I did. Nowhere near anything like what I had in crypto. Crypto was supposed to be the touchdown. I don't even know what to say or what to do. I started Googling about it. The first thing it said to do was contact the FBI. Couldn't find a phone number. Any phone number I did, it goes right back and it tells you to contact something called IC3. I filled out a claim on IC3, but I haven't heard from the FBI yet. They say that time's of the essence. I get it. So government shut down. And
yeah, and also, to shed a light into my experience with this, the odds of getting the crypto back is very small. I've gone through this process with people, kind of hand-holding people through this with FBI claims, and in the UK for the UK version of it. It just rarely ever happens. There's like specific cases where it can be possible. Like, for example, if they've moved it and they were a bit like, let's say you get dumb criminals, and they move it to a place and it's like easily traceable and it's verifiable that it was taken, and maybe they moved it to a centralized exchange for some reason. Then the eventualities like that, then you can kind of retrieve it if you act quick enough. But these guys are smart. They wash all the crypto and it sends out to these thousands of wallets, and the chances of getting it back is just so small.
They're busy with other crimes. I also contacted my local sheriff's department because I live in the county. They don't have They don't have a. They're very nice, but they don't have a.
They got no. They got no infrastructure for this stuff. No one knows what's going on. So certainly, if you go to the sheriff's office, they're like, "Wait, what's crypto? Is that Bitcoin thing?"
Unit or anything like that. They don't know anything about cryptocurrency. They're very friendly. They told me to get IC3. I contacted the State Bureau of Investigation. They don't have a crime unit. They didn't know anything. I've contacted all my friends, and they've been very helpful. They've led me to some people that know a little more about this than I do, but I still don't know what to do. I keep reading that, hire a recovery company, and then apparently recovery companies, that what they'll do is they'll track down your crypto and retrieve as much as they can, and they take like 30%. Some of them want money up front. I read some of them are great. I read some of them they're all frauds. I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't trust. The reason I got into crypto and metals is because I don't trust the banks.
Yeah.
But I tell you, at least with the banks, I can walk in and to a branch and talk to somebody. At least I can pick up the phone and call somebody. And yeah, I would have only got $250,000 visiting a bank, but I'm getting nothing here. And it's my own fault. I don't know what I could have done. I don't know what I could have done different than what I did do.
And I believe him there. I believe him because I don't know specifically what's happened, but I know Elipal have like different screens and it can be a little bit confusing. Yeah, certainly you can say don't use a hot wallet. But it's they're so sophisticated that you can easily fall into these things. And that's the thing. Like, I do believe there's very little he could have actually done to avoid this. It's a perfect storm of things that happen, and you just the unfortunate recipient of, or you're the unfortunate victim of this. It's terrible.
I'm telling you this because I think people need to hear. I don't hear about it. I mean, I hear about people getting hacked, but you either hear about a little bit getting hacked or you hear about a whole lot getting hacked. And I feel like I'm kind of right in the middle. I got a little more crypto than most people. I'll admit, that's a lot. But, I waited 8 years, and I've accumulated 8 years. Every time I had a little bit extra money, I bought some. I bought down in 20 cents and 50 cents and 75 cents. I bought all those. But you know what? None of it matters because it's gone. It's all gone. I'm not stupid. I'm not getting it back. I mean, I pray something comes back, but that's like a dream. And I did this video for two reasons. One, I hope you'll share it with anybody you know, because I don't know anything about YouTube. But maybe this is what I should do. Maybe I should talk to people about things that happen to me like this. So if you could share it, I'd appreciate it. If you share it with big content creators, I'd appreciate it.
So what everyone should be doing right now is giving Brandon a follow. He's gone from 0 to 9,000 subscribers. People really resonate with him. I think he communicates really well. He's had a big learning lesson here that he can share. I mean, he's the wisdom he can share on this topic now. There's also lots of value we can be getting from him. He's a person who had a massive portfolio. He's clearly done something in life that we can learn from. He's someone who definitely needs to be encouraged to continue making videos, and I would push as many people over to him as possible. I haven't engaged with him yet. I would very much like to. This guy deserves every subscribe. So go over to him and continue to watch his videos. Seems like the right guy to have an opportunity to make content, and I guess turn this into the thing that he does now, because he'll either have to go back to work or take this opportunity to build an audience and make this work for him and his family. So absolutely go and check him out.
I'm going to share it with the people I follow. I don't know if they'll look at it or not, but I got to come up with a new plan. I'm 54 years old. My wife's almost 60, and we got to come up with a new plan. We got to go back to work, and we should be working. It's like, I'm not trying to say boo-hoo. I'm just saying that be careful, because I really thought I did the right thing. I really did. I'm so ashamed. I feel like I let my life down. But I mean, I'm gonna pull it up and show you so that people know that I'm not lying, that this actually happened. Let's see if you can see this real quick. I don't know if you can see, this is the XRP ledger.
I put a link in the chat.
You see right there, that's the one. That's where they took it out.
If you want to go follow him, I put a link in the chat there for you. I've pinned it at the top of the chat on YouTube as well. So
that's the 10 below it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I hope it's showing up. I don't know what else to say. If anybody has any recommendations or what I should do, just know that, you know, if your crypto is gone, there's no number to pick up and call. I mean, I've contacted LA Pal. They were nice, but I mean, I'm just it's contacting through X or Twitter. You know, it's not like there's somebody to speak to. And if you're kind of like my age and you're not as quite as good with, you know, electronics, you'll understand what I mean. Anyway, I hope this doesn't happen to anybody else. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, it probably will. So, again, my name's Brandon. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina, and I just had over $3 million worth of XRP stolen from me. Thank you for listening.
Oh, brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. And a horrible thing to happen to such a nice person. Oh man, it's kind of heavy, isn't it? Again, I put a link below. I put a link in the chat if you want to go and give him a follow. So I know loads of people watch my video on digital ID. Digital ID is a big problem in the UK. It was pitched to everyone in the UK by our leader, Keir Starmer. And people just don't want it at all. So this video is about how digital ID will not actually succeed, and it intrigued me. So let's see what they have to say. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong place. Here we go.
Say no to digital
There is a global network, what I call the global cult, and through that network it imposes its will and its agenda on every country eventually, which is why during COVID you had basically a global response that was the same. And here you now have, just by coincidence, all these countries now introducing digital ID. It's a global agenda instigated by a global network. And people like this guy, Keir Starmer, he's just a gopher. Trump is just a gopher. They're here today, gone tomorrow people. Whereas the cult network that's orchestrating it, and has orchestrated it through the decades and the centuries, is always there. And this is a real line in the sand, and if we allow it to be crossed, then what's the future of freedom? There isn't any, you know?
What we're not going to accept is the same excuses that people use to take the COVID jabs, right? I'm not going to accept it. It was convenience, that's it. It wasn't because they were genuinely scared of some killer virus, right? It was convenience. It was to go and access, to go to a festival and to go on a flight. I'm not going to accept that again. Ignorance is not bliss whatsoever, and I won't be dragged to hell and tyranny because people will just not want to find out. I know there's only so much that we can do to inform people, and that's why I'm telling people, go and inform yourselves, because if you know the roots of it and you know exactly what they want, you're not going to download that app on your phone, and you're not going to sign up for one login. And it's not about getting your benefits and pension. I understand what they're doing, but don't do anything out of fear. If enough of us don't comply, it won't happen. We break that chain, and
that's the issue. That's the issue with it. That's the big conundrum. Because I don't know, you'll have let's say 2-3 million people opposing this strongly. But what's the population of the UK right now? Like 60, 70 million, 80 million. The rest of the people will just accept it. Like, you need to do this. You need to be in the street and be vocal about it, because you will save people along the way. But there's just too many people that will comply. And this is why I've talked at length with people like Jimmy Valley. I love Jimmy Valley. Molly Elmore. Molly is great. And these are two people that are so white pill. And what I mean by white pill is like they always look at the optimistic view. And when I'm around them, it's always interesting to me how, and frustrating to me, honestly, how I'm more black pill. And black pill is like, oh, I see the inevitable thing happening and we have no power. That's kind of like the black pill. And being around Jimmy and Molly put me in a position where I'm a bit more of a grey pill. Because it is always better to look at the more positive outcome of this. Like engaging on the street can actually make an impact. But I've always got this like thing behind me just kind of whispering in my ear saying, you realize how many people are just going to take this willingly? And it gets really, it's tough to deal with.
What we're doing. We don't need 100% of people not to be honest, because come on.
ID. Everyone, I keep hearing everybody saying, oh, but we're already in a digital system. Yes, we are to an extent. Some people more than others. I myself have never ever given over any biometrics. I've never used my face to log into anything or my fingerprints. I don't use my phone to pay for anything. I very much deal with cash still, and I still barter. To digital ID.
She still barters? Does that... She goes into a coffee shop and they say £4 please for the coffee, and she's like, no, I'll pay 3. Will you take 3? No, we'll take 4. That's great. That's crazy. And look, she's one of the outliers. She's way far on that side. She's actually, look, arguably one of the lucky ones, but most people aren't in that situation. Most people have at some point done something that's kind of put them in the system. And so really we need to be finding a way for the people who have contributed something to the system, that there's like an avenue out or a way to not get deeper into it. Because if there is such a system where they work with Apple or they work with Google or whatever, any of the phone companies, if they kind of just say, okay, with the new update, this ID has to go in, and you don't have to put it on the homepage. Don't put it on the home screens of the phone. Just in the background, have it as a running app. Without consent, it's possible. I don't think that's a crazy thing to think about. And that's what Crypto Stevens just said. The app is downloading that digital ID app on people's phones without people knowing. It's a scary time.
We say no to digital ID.
What do you think about digital ID?
Can you give us some space, please?
What do you think about digital ID?
Just give us some space. We're just doing our job.
Yeah. The guy's just doing it. The guy's just doing his job. They're not going to comment politically while he's on the job. He is there. They're there, hopefully, to protect the peace, allow these people to protest and say what they need to say, and protect everyone around. That's what they're there for. He's not going to comment on what the riot is, what the whole thing, the protest is about. There would be something wrong if he did. And there would also be something wrong if these policemen started to sometimes these riot police or police doing these things can take a side, and it's really bad when that happens. These need to be neutral people protecting the citizens, allowing the free speech, not having an opinion, and people shouldn't expect them to have an opinion either, like on duty.
To ID. It's basically using it as an excuse to basically, for the state to micromanage every aspect of your life. So basically they'll use the excuse of, oh, it's for national security, oh, it's to stop mass migration and all of this, but really it's all about control, because at the end of the day, criminal-minded people don't respect laws. Right? That's what makes them criminals. Laws don't work on people who don't follow laws. There's no point.
What is going on? What is going on here? What are we doing? How is there this much like turmoil?
It won't be long with the way that our technology's going before it is a chip on your hands. This is absolutely the beginning of the mark of the beast, and the Equality Act, they're breaking that because they're discriminating against mine and many others' religion, forcing us to have something that's absolutely against our religion. I'll just tell you this, I'd rather live in a tent and eat from a dumpster than get this. It's never going to happen. I'm not doing it. All these people aren't doing it. Good luck.
She is. She's putting that megaphone to work. At what point do you stop chanting the same chant? Is there like a, I've not been to a protest. Is there like a rule of like how, because you'll always get that, you'll always get that moment where you're like repeating something and then everyone's like, okay, we're tired of that one now. And then somebody's the last one to shout. And then that person who's last to shout is shouting on their own. They're like, who's, I always wonder about that. But yeah, she's making good use of her voice there with that megaphone.
You have already got a lot of ID. You've got your driving license, or you've got NHS stuff. You've got loads of information. They want you to go digital and virtual because then they can connect everyone together and control you. They want to also control your cash through digital banking. That means if you do something wrong, they'll take money out of your account. If you lose cash, you're stuck into a Digi-ID network of control. So please, resist it. Do not sign up to any Digi-ID and campaign everywhere to keep cash. And then we can keep our freedom. If we don't, we'll be taken over by a new world tyranny.
So, yeah, I mean, this is certainly frightening stuff. I'm of the mindset that this is happening. Like this will happen in some way, shape or form. So if this does happen, what are the variables that we can play a role in impacting to make this work as good as possible? An equivalent of this would be AI, right? So we know AI is inevitable. It's like continuing to be. We were watching videos the other night that of Sora 2, and we couldn't tell that it wasn't real. And I see this stuff all the time. There was the only thing that made it not real was like the extravagance of it. Like it was too kind of like over the top. But there's an inevitability to AI. There's an inevitability to blockchain. There's an inevitability to digital ID. as an evolution of blockchain. The only thing that we are in control of in this case is who we put in charge to be responsible for regulating it. And that is if we assume that it's going to happen. That's the variable that we can impact. If you believe that it's not going to happen, then fine, that's fine to think, and you can absolutely do your best to try and make it not happen ever. Maybe create a spark to go back to cash. Maybe that will kick off. My view is that it will happen, and we should not make it easy for them, and we should elect according to who we think we are willing, because you can't have all the power in individuals. The power has to be in a functioning society, has to at some degree be at some level of governmental involvement. Otherwise you end up just being like tribes. I just don't think that's the optimal way to be. There needs to be a democratic view, someone in charge with people doing the will of the people. So in that eventuality, we need the right people in there who understand the dangers and who, as you know, people of character, won't encroach on the things that we're fearful about. We're not fearful about the idea of having one ID that we can use at the airport, you know, to get healthcare. We're not opposed to that. We're not opposed to the convenience of the single ID. I don't think most people are opposed to that. What people are opposed about is the potential for the nefarious to take place. You know, restricted on what you can say and therefore limited with your banking capabilities. If your social score goes down, does your bank account go down? If your social score goes up, does your bank account go up? And how does your social score go up? Does it mean you have to fall in line? Does it mean you have to say what you're supposed to say? Like, these are the concerns. And so you need someone to manage this situation. In my mind, it's inevitable. You need someone to manage this situation who won't go past those lines that we've drawn. Yeah, so Deck, you raise a good point. Power does change hands. So I one of my videos recently on this was that it inevitably won't happen. That's basically the same title as this video that this guy has produced here. Digital ID will not succeed. They're coming at it from like just an opposition standpoint. In my video, I came at it from the angle of like, legally, this is going to take years to take place. And by the time it actually gets to the point where it could come into play, Labour will be out. Like the same people in charge of it now will not be there anymore. And I tend to think with things on the trajectory that they're going, we're not going to have, I think there's going to be a bit of a change of guard coming. And we just have to make sure that when that guard changes, that we put someone in power that can manage this in the way in a way that is appeasing to those that are concerned right now. Just kind of I don't know, what is it? I know everyone in this chat typically will, I think, just by nature will oppose digital ID. But what's the I don't know, do you think this is inevitable? Or do you think this can be stopped? Oh, Doge is back. Hey, Doge. It's been a while. Yeah, it kind of flew under the radar, didn't it? When it hit Asia, it hit China. Kind of just acknowledged it, but didn't go any further. Twitter. My Twitter is what say Lou. I don't really use it though. I use it just for kind of looking at what people are saying. For the purpose of these streams. Truth. I didn't skip your question. I just didn't understand your question. So write a better question and then I'll answer. What if they tie receiving this money? Yeah, so John, that's kind of where I fall. I think the angle that they will take to get digital ID in for the majority is some form of reward system that is financial, and the economy would probably be in such a bad position to where that financial incentive is just enough to push most people over the edge. That would make sense to me for it to be like that. Luca, the far left does not view someone just left of center as good as MAGA. And it was a bit of an exaggeration. That's not how most lefties think, Lewis. Applying for right rationality to the far left is a mistake. No, I'll stick with that. I think you have extremes on both sides. And what's funny about the extremes is that extremes react in the same way to things. I'm not taking a side here. Like I said left because that was the first word that came into my head. I could have said that absolute far right thinks someone just right of center isn't right enough. It's the same. It's a logical thing. I'm not taking a side here. I'm not here. Like I know you've taken like offense to it because maybe you're on the left. And I know not every single person thinks the same thing. I'm aware. Just listen to what I'm saying and not like trying to pull something that's not there. I'm being rational and level. Like it's not anything else. Yeah, that interview with Rob Cunningham was interesting. He's a great mind. If you haven't seen Rob Cunningham before on the Cool Show, KUWL show, it's definitely worth watching because he's a great mind. He can connect dots really well. Really cool. Okay. So with that, what is next for us?
Yeah.
Oh, we did that one.
The gov.
Okay, I think we'll give the UK a little bit of a rest here. Oh, but we've got another one.
So listen, why has
this I thought was interesting. Michael Novogratz and Raoul Pal talking about why crypto's behind, but stocks are still kind of going up, especially tech stocks. So let's see what.
So listen, why?
Because it is interesting because the money's flowing in places. The money's always flowing somewhere. And when it's not necessarily going to crypto, obviously you've got my attention here. Like, why is this happening? And these are two very smart people. So let's go.
Why has crypto been heavy, you think, versus equities? I mean, all the tech stocks have been ripping higher. It's been a really easy trade. Well, crypto's just been choppier.
Yeah, listen, we had a huge run in some ways.
Yeah.
And crypto is about narrative and flow, right? And so what's the story? You had a great Bitcoin story for a while, and then it kind of ran into selling. I mean, we sold 9 billion ourselves for one client. Like
I know, with almost no impact, bizarrely.
But that swallowed all that treasury company buying.
Yeah.
And so without that 9 billion, you're probably significantly higher. Right? Remember, prices are set on the margin. And I think there were a lot of people in the Bitcoin world that had rode this so long that finally decided, I want to buy something. I'm not going to sell all my Bitcoin, but I got a friend that bought a yacht, a friend that bought part of a sports team, and so people trimming because it had been a great run, and you're just digesting that turnover.
And do you think that's the main supply has been old OGs plus miners and stuff like that? Is that the main
100%.
supply, you think?
That's the only supply we've seen. And the other piece has been, remember, Ethereum was dead, and then all of a sudden you've got the Genius Act plus Tom Lee and Joe Lubin with their DATs, and it became a buying machine. And so ETH had a spectacular run in the last, 2.5 months. But that's, you go from 1,800 or 1,600 all the way to 3,800. That's a pretty good run.
Yeah.
And so, on the year, these things are whatever, 30%.
I think that's what I think people really forget that. I agree. I agree with the good run thing here. If you think about Bitcoin, it went down in the bear market to like 16,000. 16,000 was it? It went from 67,000 to 16, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. 16K to 100 and whatever it went to. For Bitcoin, that's a massive run. Maybe not massive compared to the initial runs, but when you're looking at ROI for your money, it's crazy. And even for XRP, and Lord willing, it continues going up. And this isn't it. But think about it. A lot of people on this channel, a lot of people I know were buying 32 cents, 33 cents. These were kind of like the second era of investors buying at a good time. Before that, it was like the 17-cent mark was like the it moment. Going from 30 cents to $3.80 is insane. That's more than a 10x. That is a run. Maybe the issue is that with expectations being like, oh, we're going to get thousands of X return on this. When that's the expectation, of course, 10x is not going to feel great. But objectively, in any investment that you do, 10x is a really good response. Even if you're buying at 57 cents, 60 cents, this is a great return so far. And I hope it continues. And it's my feeling, the bullish side of me, that it will continue. And we're not done. We're halfway done here. But I have to look, rationally and logically at this. If it doesn't continue to go up, it was a good run.
%, not stunning, good year.
But usually it's back end loaded as well, almost every time.
And so that's the question listen, if you looked at the normal 4-year cycle, you'd be lightening up and you'd be getting flat into Christmas. Like, what could be different? Dangerous freaking words. It's different this time. There are two things that could be different. We are going to pass a market structure bill, and that plus Genius is going to allow, at one point Apple's going to have stable coins on their iPhone. Like there's no excuses anymore that there's regulation around what's a commodity and what's a security and and the SEC saying we want you to be on chain. And so I think there's an acceleration of the existing giant players in consumer and financial markets getting into crypto. We are going to see tokenized stuff, probably starting with tokenized equities and mortgages and everything else. That's good for the narrative of all these level 1, L1 chains.
So you obviously like this video enough that you've...
Thank you, Raul. I did like that video. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I really hope this isn't it. I really hope this isn't the end of the run. Come on, let's have a little bit more juice out of it. We could all do with that. I think we all need the mood lifted. Don't do it again. 2021 was hard enough to watch. When there was an expectation of an alt season and it never came. That was tough enough. Like, doing it again, where most cryptos don't go on this like alt season, again. We need it. We need it. Okay, so any thoughts and feelings on that topic? Just looking at chat here. Oh, that's what I want to do. Maybe we have a little bit of fun here, actually.
Whitney.
Okay, not going to go into that.
Were the prizes?
I heard about this show called Killer Whales. Has anyone seen Killer Whales? If you haven't, from what I hear, Killer Whales is like Shark Tank. What is it in America? No, it's Shark Tank in America. It's Dragon's Den in the UK. You get people to come in. They pitch their ideas in crypto to a suite of influencers in crypto, basically. And it's like, I thought we might as well just give it a go and see. I don't know if anyone's been watching it, but I thought this would be a funny reoccurring series to do. Just watch some of the episodes of this. So if we're feeling it, we'll watch the whole thing. If we're not feeling it, then we'll move on. But let's see. Very dramatic.
Yo, what is good, you crypto MFers? We're here to show you that crypto isn't scary after all. Just remember, none of this is financial advice. This is Killer Whales. Crypto entrepreneurs from all over the globe come to Los Angeles, California to pitch their startups. At stake is $1.5 million worth of prizes, including an accelerator package from the legendary CoinMarketCap. So, how are they going to secure this bag?
Oh, that studio.
Simple.
I've been to that studio.
Head-to-head with the most intense name.
I've been to that studio. We filmed the XRP documentary. The XRP. My part was in this studio. This is the same studio that they filmed the Batman: The Dark Knight. It's in LA. I flew all the way to LA to stand there and do my lines. A really cool space to do this. I've got a picture at the camera's my phone, so I can't show you the picture, but I posted it on my Instagram, I think.
In the entire industry and walk away with a swim vote.
I'm 100% with you on this in swimming.
Or get mogged.
This is a sink for me, and you should go find another job.
And win nothing. Introducing the Killer Whales. Cutthroat businessman Rand Neuner lost over $100 million in a day during the infamous 2022 crypto collapse, then made it all back by investing in some of the industry's most successful startups. From door-to-door coffee salesman to building a multi-million-dollar empire on X, Mario Nawfal is undeniably a
he's the guy on Twitter.
Controversial name in the crypto space. You may not like him, but you gotta respect his grind. From Long Island paperboy to Wall Street hedge fund manager, via a brief stint as Trump's right-hand man in the White House, Anthony Scaramucci has $500 million in assets under management. Gracie Chen is the queen of data with a laser eye for excellence. As the CEO of BitGet, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, she oversees $10 billion worth of transactions on the daily. Bringing the sauce to crypto, Illa the producer is a Grammy-nominated, multi-platinum music producer and the head of community for Yuga Labs. You better come correct, because this bullshit meter is second to none. First up, karate isn't exactly new, but this next project has the potential to drop-kick these whales into a feeding frenzy.
All right, what do you think? What do you think he's going to do? Is he going to butcher this? Is this going to make us want to turn it off? Or is this going to be good and entertaining?
I'm really confident about our project winning 5 swims because we have one of the hottest sports leagues on the planet and we have incredible utility in Web3. Let's do it. Whales. My name is Robert Bryan. I'm the founder of Karate Combat, the fastest growing sports league worldwide today within fight sports. Karate Combat is on TV in over 100 countries and streams on channels such as Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. We're pioneering the future of sports as the first league governed and gamified by a token. Our events aren't just fights. Every event is like a real-life version of Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. We do that using immersive 3D sets created in Unreal Engine and precise camera tracking. This is all done real-time at live events with a live audience. Sports fans today, they consume content.
I saw this. BitBoy... Oh, sorry, I just spat everywhere. BitBoy Crypto did it. He was fighting on here. It was like a retribution fight. I don't know. Something. I've seen this before.
Different, primarily on mobile, via social media. It's easily accessible. You can watch Karate Combat on karate.com, your favorite streaming platforms, and you can also watch on TV, all for free. Before every bout, fans can go on the Karate Combat app, and the token holders can allocate their tokens to the fighters they think are going to win. If their fighter is victorious, they earn additional tokens. If the fighter loses, they don't lose anything. What's more is the token actually governs the league. Token holders determine fighting prospects, the rule set, and a number of other critical decisions.
Like who fights? Like you can pick your fighters?
This governance model provides transparency and community involvement. We're distinguishing ourselves as the first league without equity, but powered by the vision of the community. So, how has it worked out? Our last event in Dubai, we had over 40 million live views. Our app and our involvement in Up-Only Gaming is growing 50% per month and is on track to be one of the largest games within Web3. The league has been so successful that now we're expanding it. So, you know, you guys are the whales, you guys are really tough. Does anyone want to step in the pit and actually fight?
Robert's doing a great job leaving a good first impression. Let's just hope that impression isn't left on a judge's face.
I don't think I can fight in this high heel. I'm out.
I'm a lover. I'm a lover.
Here we go, Big Mouth. This is your opportunity.
All right, I'm in, but who am I fighting?
Go dancer, boy.
Who am I fighting?
Pretty face?
You're not fighting me. You're fighting him.
Mario, you are dumb, man.
Hey, man.
Get your ass kicked.
Low IQ.
This is Shape, undefeated Karate Combat fighter, one of the top fighters within.
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I'm in this, Mooch.
All right.
By the way, I'm not saying your token's any good or not, but he better.
Oh, don't get it wrong. This is a gambling app. There's the desire to be like a UFC was like combat, which I think is exploding and is fun. I love it. But tying in a gambling app, and that gambling app, you're using the tokens. The more you win on the gambles, the more say you have in the governance of the league. So the more success you have in your gambling. So let's think about that, actually. The people who are bigger gamblers end up determining what happens in the league. So that has to have an impact. You get those types of people taking big risks, willing to take risks, willing to gamble, basically determining Yeah, did he say if you sold, you don't lose any tokens? Did he actually say that?
You get a lot of tokens.
I just don't see how this can only end badly.
Everybody knows the rules. Kicking, punching. You're allowed to throw your opponent, but no wrestling.
He's really gonna do it.
The way that could work is if you don't... It's not a financial... Like, the token doesn't have... From the app, you can't sell the token. You know? So... yeah, it's just really like gamified. And it's just a game, and that's it. That has way less legs for me, I think.
A lot of people in Web3
are
waiting for this moment.
Are you ready?
You look like a crash
right,
dummy,
fight.
Mario.
Uh-oh. Not much of a fight here. Come on, put some effort into it. This isn't sparring, boys. Come on, come on.
Yeah.
No one...
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
All right, boys. That's the end of the fight. All right, I'll declare a draw. I'll declare a draw.
He went easy on you, bro, and you still lost.
It's quite entertaining what they've done here. I don't know if I'm the the right demo to watch this. It's a cool idea. They've produced it well. I'm just not. I'm not sure whether this is something I want to put my time into. To be honest, I like the idea. I'd love to be on that show. It'd be so cool. With a project of mine, or like in any way, it's a fun thing. Yeah, I wonder what the viewership is on this stuff. Let's have a look. Hello Labs. So Hello Labs produced this. 25,000 views. It's a lot of money that's gone into this. It's a lot of money. I know how much this place costs to rent out. Unless these projects that are coming on here to pitch, are they paying to be here? Is this an ad spot for them? Would explain how they can afford that studio and this production value. We'll see. Well, I don't know what information will come out about this, but I've got a feeling. Anyway, I'm going to stop watching that because I think it's I don't know, it's just not my thing, I don't think. Okay. That's a UK thing. We'll finish with a couple of UK things, but let's get one more bit of XRP information here. Apparently we have some information leaked from a lady who exposed secrets about XRP live. So we're here to listen to Crypto Sensei's thoughts on this, and let's see what's going on.
Whitney Webb is bringing up the dark side of tokenization that Larry Fink and the elites won't tell you. Also, we want to explore this new system, this unified ledger. Is it Ethereum? Is it XRP? A mixture of both. We're also going to get into some information surrounding that, what the BIS, the IMF, the World Economic Forum are actually doing with Ripple and XRP. Let's go ahead and play this and get into it.
Larry Fink is now running, I believe, the World Economic Forum. He's acting chairman. And in addition to saying that everything, will be tokenized, he's said that everything will soon be on the same universal digital ledger or database, and that everything on that database will have a unique identifier number. So for you as an individual, your identifier number will presumably be your digital ID or directly linked to that, but everything will have a digital ID. The tokenization.
Yeah. So I agree, actually, and that is really scary if you think about it. But think about it for right now as well. When you're born, you get given a birth certificate. That birth certificate literally has a barcode on it or a serial number, and that serial number isn't for the birth certificate. That serial number is you. So, in many ways, and I'm sure, and what she's saying is completely true. I completely agree, and it's worth concern. But we already have these ties to us. We're already numbers in the system. So the way I'm trying to think about it is, okay, if we are already numbers in a system, and now we're becoming numbers in a system, what is actually changing? What is the specific thing that's changing? And is that thing that's changing something I want to stand on the hill and die on? Like die on the hill? Or is nothing really changing except that it's going onto the blockchain? These are like the questions that I'm asking. And I think those are pretty reasonable, rational questions to be asking. If we're trying not to get like too emotional about things, I think that's a pretty decent question to be asking. So let's continue to listen.
Agenda in particular seeks to tokenize not just assets that we traditionally think of, like real estate, for example, or gold, or physical assets as well as digital assets like Bitcoin. there's a major effort connected with people like Fink and also people like Mark Carney, who's now the Prime Minister of Canada, to tokenize the natural world and transform it into financial assets.
Yep.
And there was an attempt to do this to an extent under the Biden administration, I believe through the Department of Interior, with natural asset corporations, but that has not gone away. And there are groups, for example, one of the creators of the ETF model originally, which BlackRock now owns, iShares. His name is Peter Kenez, I think is how you pronounce it. He's trying to turn the Amazon rainforest into a digital commodity, sort of similar to Bitcoin in terms of like the scarcity idea that, you know, each hectare of the Amazon rainforest would represent, you know, a token, and then financialize it that way. And then each hectare would then have its unique identifier, right, on the block.
Okay, I need to think about this. I need to think about my stance on it. Because I kind of think where there are humans and there is opportunity, humans will most likely take that opportunity, especially if it's financial. Now, with that Amazon example, and I heard the host, I don't know who the host is, but I heard him like do a deep sigh. What was the sigh for? Because what she was saying, in my mind, the way I heard it, was that you have the Amazon rainforest, a scarce asset, right? You tokenize it, you divide it up, basically have them as NFTs. And, you know, it's a problem if you buy a hectare of Amazon rainforest and then you then have the rights, like the deed rights, to be able to take action on that land. That's one thing, and I think that's probably a negative thing, because most people would turn to looking for financial opportunity. They would destroy the rainforest. It would be all patchy. It would be horrible, because people would be trying to build houses and villages and towns and cities there, and you don't want that, right? Because the Amazon rainforest, very important for like the atmosphere and stuff. The other side of that, which I wouldn't kind of sigh about, would be more like protecting it. Like, you buy a hectare and that is protected. You have the deeds, you have the rights, but there's no rights to actually manipulate it. So it comes with a clause kind of thing. And in that case, I don't think there's any reason to sigh. I think that's a really good thing. I think that's a company looking for you can only make money when there is a problem to be solved. So if you solve the problem, you can make money because you're alleviating pain in the process, right? You're solving a problem, you make money. There's value there. The problem is that the rainforest needs to be protected. That's the problem. This is a solution. I have no problem in that business making money, because they should be able to make money from solving a problem. But if you can make money, solve a problem, and protect the rainforest, I think that's a thumbs up all around.
Chain and would be, you know, serviced by surveillance drones and all sorts of stuff. So even our most like natural, the places we conceptualize as the most natural places on Earth, these people want to come in, place surveillance technology and, you know, tokenize it and put it on a blockchain. And
really quickly, it gets a little scary when we start talking about something like this, right? Tokenizing the rainforest and maybe selling off shares of it to people. Like, there is a plan at play here.
Yeah, but what's the problem with that? I want to hear the argument as to why that specific thing is weird. Like, why is that a problem? Come on, try and think of the other side, Lewis. What is the problem? Could the problem be that nature should just be left to be nature? Perhaps, but nature would still be left to be nature if people owned it but didn't touch it. So I think that's kind of a weak argument, if that is the argument. I need to talk to someone about that. Maybe I'll reach out to Crypto Sensei. I think he's great. By the way, every time I've talked to him, there's one thing that you need to know about him. Nobody sees as many dots all at the same time and connects them all together at the same time better than he does. Like, it's kind of astonishing. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. And that's been my overwhelming kind of feeling from him, having spoken to him personally.
And a lot of us, we're not involved in that plan. And the only way we can get out of the current system that we are in, this debt system, is to figure out what these elites are going to use to tokenize all this value, where this value is going to wind up. That is what we want to hold. And certain assets like Ethereum, like XRP, like Solana, those are going to be the base layers of this entire tokenization financial system, right? We don't know what their plans are, but we have a good understanding of what they're saying currently. And I'm going to play some of those clips for you after this and where we think this is all going. And you need to plan accordingly right now, because they have been planning for years.
Use it to, you know, I would argue in the case particularly of natural asset corporations and the group behind it, the Intrinsic Exchange Group, they just want to open up a huge new asset class. They call it nature's opportunity, so that they can continue engaging in the same type of bad behavior that, for example, brought us the 2008 financial crisis by, you know, quintupling basically the amount of assets currently in play. It's,
you know, I had a
very insane.
I had a guy who worked very, very, very high up at Citibank, and he told me around 2008, he said, Glenn, you know, don't worry about the financial system. And I'm like, and he said, you know, we're never going to go broke. I mean, do you know how much just the national parks are worth? And I looked at him and said, are you seriously telling me that we should commoditize the national parks? And he said, it's going to happen. And I wonder now if this is what he was talking about, if it was just a digital, not actually selling them, it's just a digital commoditization of our parks.
Yeah. So apply this now to the...
I don't see an issue with it. I think you should protect national parks. I think you shouldn't destroy this landscape. And America has some amazing landscape, but it goes for it goes for everything. Like all the natural world. I think we should maintain that as much as possible. But in my mind, what happens digitally, as long as the thing that happens digitally doesn't impact the physical ground, I think humans should be free to commoditize whatever they possibly can. But I do think we should protect the natural world.
The phrase that we all heard during the COVID era, you'll own nothing and be happy. Well,
yes.
There's certain people that want to own everything, and that includes things that have never been able to be owned before, that were considered things like the public commons, like rivers, lakes, the ocean itself, natural forests, all sorts of it. These people want to put all of that into the financial.
That's yeah. There's like a moral thing. Look, I'm always open to other perspectives, and that's a good point. It's kind of like a moral stance where this space should be enjoyed freely, and freely doesn't just mean in a physical manner, potentially. Perhaps freely also means in the knowledge that nobody owns this and this is all of ours. We all own it. So that's a good point. It shows how complex these things are, right?
System, fractionalize it, tokenize it, and sell pieces of it around. You know, use it to speculate on. I mean, it's very bonkers. So,
insane is probably the right phrase there. Also, this is a clip earlier from this year with Whitney Webb talking about BlackRock. Companies are attempting to seize control over their natural world under the guise of saving the planet. I thought this was just really interesting. So I'm gonna play it.
In Larry Fink's case in particular, there's a goal, well, a big ambition there to develop new asset classes that can be used to basically fuel their existing business model and perpetuate it for, like, I don't know, millennia forward. So one of these that, you know, I've been writing about for a few years is the whole idea of natural assets, what they call nature's economy. As an asset manager, you know, BlackRock being able to unlock and take control of as many natural assets as possible that aren't currently part of the financial system is obviously a way for them to perpetuate what they do and deepen and expand their control over not just, you know, people in the existing financial system, but really over the natural world as well, and essentially turn everything alive into a tradable Wall Street financial.
Really quickly, we don't ever talk about something like this. That's why I found it really interesting. I wanted to discuss with you. But what is it right now that you think these elites are going to tokenize outside of kind of what we're talking about here, out of the normal conversation of stocks, bonds, commodities, real estate, debt lending, those types of things? What else do you see these people wanting to tokenize?
The moon.
Rainforest? Is it lake?
The moon, all the minerals on different planets. That's nature. That's an interesting thing. That's nature too, right? Do we just leave that alone? Or is that like the biggest opportunity that's ever existed? I'm kind of stuck between like this view of being capitalist, where I think people should be free to solve as many problems as they can to make as much money as they want. I like the idea that can be possible, but there's also the other side of me that wants to protect the things that things like nature and shared spaces. It kind of feels a bit binary, like you have to be one or the other, but there must be a middle ground. There's always a middle ground. And that's why legislation takes so long. It's fascinating. This is cool. Great topic that you've brought up here. Well, Whitney primarily, but Sensei's brought this to light. I have never seen her before. This is great.
It's rare earths, like, where do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'm gonna be really interested to see what you guys say.
Product. And the goal, as Fink has stated, is to have all of this on a universal ledger on blockchain, presumably, and have it be, trackable and surveillable. By having it all surveillable and automated in a sense, he's able to have his risk management AI thing, Aladdin, sort of exercise control over it in unprecedented ways, I think, for their benefit. And then, of course, a lot of what's happening now as we're moving into this new financial governance system is the push to change all of the infrastructure towards this, quote unquote green model, I guess, or decarbonization, right? Part of the goal of the whole global carbon market thing for them is that it allows them to unlock so many new assets and so much more collateral and so much other stuff to create new debt out of, and to just sort of expand the existing models they use to just unprecedented levels and sort of perpetuate this into infinity.
All right. Let me go ahead.
And also, look, Ripple are participating in that as well. They've been heavy on carbon credit narratives as well. It's just fascinating. This has really got my brain going. Like, I haven't got my brain going like this for a while. Something new. Like, when I heard her saying the natural world, I thought she was talking about like gold and copper and silver and minerals from the earth and stuff. But yeah, tokenizing spaces. Natural spaces. And then running that all off a centralized place. That's interesting. We'll follow this. We'll follow this story and see how that develops, because there's so this is the question. Does the stable coin world, because mostly the stable coin world I anticipate will work on the Swift blockchain, whatever that ends up being, does that operate as a different area as tokenization? Or is it seriously, truly a single ledger where you've got tokenization, CBDC, stablecoins, all converging in this one place, XRP, everything converging in this one place? Or do they actually operate on separate systems that are interoperable? That's what we should be finding out.
I'm going to show you some additional information here. So we've heard Larry Fink say statements like this.
As a huge believer of crypto and blockchain and tokenization, I want the SEC to rapidly approve the tokenization of bonds and stocks.
All right. But it's not only bonds and stocks that he's talking about here. Maybe it's a disguise of he wants bonds and stocks to be tokenized, so the rest of it right? The plan, because they're not telling us, they're not showing us what their true intentions are. They're giving us kind of what we want to hear, right? Oh, the tokenization is the future. Commodities, stocks, bonds, yes. But what else is it?
Well, yeah. No, I actually... What it is that they have this long tail plan, what they want to happen as a destination thing. And they're smart people. These are smart people. They're going to pitch you the stage that's immediately in front of you. And they're going to pitch it in such a way where it's kind of like, what do you think about this? Like, what's the perception of this? How are you receiving this? And then, if their wording's slightly wrong, they'll reel it back and maybe approach it in a different way. And so they're only giving you what's right on at your feet. They're never going to show you the destination at the end. But they're going to make sure that every step that they do take, they're wording it perfectly according to like what's popular right now, what's trending right now, where the sentiment is, all of that stuff. So cool. And I would love to buy an acre of the moon. I don't feel the same about the moon as I do the rainforest. The moon doesn't feel like nature, even though definitionally it is, but I care more about the national parks than I do the moon. So tokenize the moon. That would be so valuable as well because the minerals from it. Anyway.
I actually believe the underlying technology is fantastic because the blockchain will help you accelerate the processes of transactions. The blockchain will help you identify. I mean, let's be clear. If you have a pure blockchain and you have knowledge of who the buyers and sellers are, we could then, we don't need custodians anymore.
Okay. We don't need custodians anymore, right? And then you also have this clip here. You know what, let me play this one. This was the most recent clip we had just a few days ago.
I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board. There's $4.1 trillion of money sitting globally in digital wallets. A lot of that money is outside the United States. If we could tokenize a ETF, digitize that ETF, we could have investors who are just beginning to, invest in markets through, let's say, crypto. They're investing in it, but now we could get them into the more traditional long-term retirement products.
Remember, the biggest problem that these institutions have right now is younger people are more connected to crypto and blockchain than they are traditional markets. And when you're seeing this $80 trillion handover for money from the current generation to the younger generation over the next few decades, that is going to play a major role of who invests money and where. And if people are used to the blockchain, they're going to want to put their money where they feel most comfortable. And Larry Fink understands that, he sees that. And this is also why BlackRock and these other institutions are now going headfirst into the crypto space, because without it, where are they going to be?
So we look at that as the next wave of...
Yeah, this video is doing a lot for me in terms of yeah, so I can believe this it's pretty exciting to me, this, I'll be honest, because all of these assets are going to be used. Stable coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, they're all going to be used. But when you hear stuff like this, where it's like the tokenization of everything, yeah, we're not suggesting that the XRPL is going to be the platform for tokenizing everything. But if everything is tokenized, how that's all divided up, even the portion that goes to XRP and impacts XRP and goes on the XRPL, that's crazy. That's still amazing. Well done, Sensei, for this video. I love this one.
Opportunity for BlackRock over the next tens of years as we start moving away from traditional financial assets by repotting them in a digital manner, and then having people stay in that digital ecosystem.
Have people stay in that digital ecosystem. So now let's take a look. When Larry Fink makes statements about new interconnected world ledger, what is he talking about? Let's jump into that. New interconnected world ledger and tokenized value systems at the World Economic Forum are tied to his broader vision of financial tokenization, but is not specific to XRP or Ethereum by name. However, Context from his remarks: BlackRock's partnerships and ongoing institutional projects suggest that both Ethereum and XRP fit into the emerging framework. So Larry Fink's interconnected ledger vision. As the current head of the World Economic Forum, Fink has emphasized transforming outdated financial rails like SWIFT into instant interoperable global settlement systems based on distributed ledger technology. His push centers on tokenization, turning traditional assets like bonds, funds, currencies into blockchain-based tokens that can be transferred instantly and have transparency. This narrative echoes technology developed by Ripple's XRP ledger, which already enables instant settlement and liquidity, bridging through on-demand liquidity. In fact, analysts have pointed out that the system Fink describes almost word for word matches Ripple's architecture. BlackRock itself has reportedly linked its tokenized funds through Securitize with Ripple's USD stablecoin, providing institutional on-chain liquidity and 24/7 settlement. Ethereum's relationship to central banks here. Ethereum, meanwhile, is already being used in a regulated pilot programs in institutional finance, especially for tokenized securities and central bank linked tests. Examples include Project Enbridge, a multi-CBDC network supported by the BIS and multiple central banks, Ethereum virtual machine compatible. The European Investment Bank has issued digital bonds on Ethereum with banks like Goldman Sachs, and Consensus CBDC framework endorsed by central banks calls Ethereum the most production-ready blockchain for CBDCs. Now, it's going to be very interesting to see who, in fact, is trusted, or is it going to be a mixture of all of these different things rolled into one? I would imagine it'll be a mixture. Ethereum is increasingly framed as institutional sources as global settlement layer, or world ledger supporting 5 trillion in annual stablecoin transfers, 8.3 billion in tokenized real-world assets. And then also, too, when Larry Fink is asked about,
it's like the all boats rise in the flood. I think this is bolstering my view of my bullishness. I have been bullish. I've been unsure about the market. I fear for the market. But this has done a really good job in and I think he's been very rational here. I like this delivery. It's rational. This is just completely reasonable stuff, connecting dots that make sense, and I think that's really exciting. Let's get this. Let's get it going. Why are we waiting for this? Let's get going.
About a possible XRP ETF, he cannot comment. I don't know if this means that BlackRock has plans or didn't have plans back then. They just didn't want to say anything. But, he's been asked this question before.
Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. How about XRP? Can you answer that? I can't.
All right. And then also, you did see those connections I was talking to you about: BlackRock, Securitize, RLUSD, and all of this stuff is starting to be interconnected. How deep do these connections actually go, and are there more announcements in the days to come? I believe we are just now scratching the surface of what this is actually going to be, and over the next 6 to 12 to 24 months, true adoption is going to take shape here. And if you don't own the assets that this value is going to be transacted on, well, sounds like you're not going to be able to own anything. I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei. Aloha.
So listen, why?
Aloha indeed. Great video. That's a good video, ladies and gentlemen. That was a good video. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we're coming to the end here. I think we're going to do... Let's do this one by Tony Newbat. It's a UK-related one. The UK crypto rules just changed again. Let's listen to what he has to say. We've been making a load of videos on UK tax. I feel like I've become somewhat of a specialist in this. The amount I've been talking about it recently. But let's see what he has to say.
As I'm making this video, UK investors are now able to buy crypto on the stock market and put it inside of their investing accounts. Specifically, you'll be able to buy exchange-traded notes, which will track the price of both Bitcoin or Ethereum. This means that you can now put crypto inside of a stocks and shares ISA and even your pension account, if your provider allows you access to.
I heard about this. So everyone in the US, they're thinking, yeah, we have this already. We're like our 401k. We can build our 401k out with crypto. We couldn't do that. This is game changing. I need to note this down. I need to note this down because I will talk to my accountant about this, and I will talk to my community about this in my thing. So that's ISA, pension, crypto. Okay, I am all ears.
To them, which most should do. However, there's also a bit of a catch-2 and a couple of other points that I wanted to clarify, as it's not all straightforward and perfectly simple. So as a very quick recap, the Financial Conduct Authority basically lifted their ban on crypto products from the 8th of October. This meant that retail investors like you and me could buy these types of investments and put them inside of whatever accounts we like. Now, it's important to say that these products have been around for a number of years. However, they've been locked to institutional investors and professional investors only. So it's not like everything here is actually brand new. It's just that there was a ban in place which stopped retail investors from buying in. Anyway, by the time this video goes out, we should all be able to buy these investments inside our investing accounts like a Stocks and Shares ISA, so long as our provider has access to them. Now, here's the catch that I wanted to highlight in this video. On the 8th of October, HMRC released this document. It's a policy paper that clarifies some of the details around what investors are able to do with their crypto investments. Okay. I will put a link to this in the description if you want to read the whole thing, but it's really just a short couple of paragraphs. Now, here's the key bits of information. Firstly, they clarify that we are good to go ahead from the 8th of October to invest in these crypto ETNs. These are very specific types of investments, allowing investors access to Bitcoin and Ethereum for the time being. Now, secondly, and this is the slightly frustrating and confusing bit, they say the following. Initially, CETNs or crypto ETNs will be automatically eligible for inclusion in Stocks and Shares ISAs. From the 6th of April 2026, they'll be reclassified as qualifying investments within the Innovative Finance ISA. So basically, from now until the new financial year, we're good to invest into crypto ETNs and put them inside of accounts like the Stocks and Shares ISA. However, as soon as April 6, 2026 rolls around, we won't be able to make any new purchases unless we have and use the Innovative Finance ISA, which is another type of account that very few people use, let alone even know anything about. For clarity, my understanding is that this doesn't mean that if you invest today in a Bitcoin ETN, it'll have to be moved or sold in the new financial year. It would just mean that you couldn't buy more of it or buy it as a new investor.
So put it away now into an ETN. There's no stipulation necessarily right now that you have to move it into the new type of ISA. This is crazy. This seems like a window of time that we have here to make those kinds of moves. And I'm also confident that this will extrapolate out to the other assets once they've kind of passed the test, I guess. Wow.
As it stands right now, you've got until the April the 6th, 2026 to make your investments into crypto ETNs before they decide to change the way they're classified and only permitted into the Innovative Finance ISA. Now, this to me makes no sense whatsoever, and I think it's just going to cause a lot of confusion. They say they want to support the growing cryptocurrency sector and protect investors, but this just makes things look really uncertain. And I think it's a very odd move to suggest that the crypto ETN should be inside an Innovative Finance ISA. Now, this type of account is not offered by many providers. It's hardly used at all by investors, and I just don't see where or why a crypto product fits in here.
Who's benefiting from this? Here's my theory. There are one, maybe two banks that actually offer these, what do you call them? Innovative Finance ISAs. It would be interesting to know how involved the leaders of these, the leaders of those banks that offer the Innovative Finance ISAs, what kind of role they played in getting this policy updated. Someone do the research.
Now, on a positive note, this still leaves us with plenty of time to invest in a crypto product if we want to. And there is a point here saying that this is always under review. Now, I read this as we have no idea what we're going to do. It's up to the government to figure it out. and give us some proper clarification. So in the meantime, we're going to be really cautious. I'll be very interested in what you think about this as well. I wonder if this will change what you're planning to do. Will you be investing today, or does this put you off if you think the goalposts can just change at any point? Maybe.
I think as soon as they go into the innovative finance ISA, I think the deal will be worse. So like the terms will get worse. The interest on those accounts would be worse. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be a bit. The deal that you get originally, I think, is probably gonna be a little bit better. But who knows? I'm speaking. That's just a gut feeling. Because once they have more control, typically more control means less upside.
In the upcoming autumn budget, Rachel Reeves will clarify this and change things up, but who knows? Now, there's a second clarification point that I wanted to make as a follow-up from my previous video. Now, in my last video, I explained what an exchange-traded note was and how it would be different from something like an ETF, which many of you watching are more familiar with when it comes to investing your hard-earned money. These crypto investments that are going to be traded from now are technically exchange-traded notes. Now, the key difference of an ETN generally is it doesn't own the assets that it's allowing you to invest in. The clue is in the name, as it's basically an exchange-traded note, i.e. paper.
Okay.
This typically comes with more risk, as the investor might have to worry about the issuer going bust. However, the good news here is that for UK investors is that these crypto ETNs are going to be physically backed by the asset they're allowing you to track. Now, this is a really important thing to highlight, and in my last video, I did add a comment that I would follow this up, and this is not typical for a standard ETN, which could be tracking any kind of index or commodity. So for crypto ETNs that will be listed on the London Stock Exchange, they can only go ahead and trade if they are 100% physically backed by the crypto they're tracking. For now, this will mean that any Bitcoin listed on the any kind of index or commodity. So for crypto ETNs that will be listed on the London Stock Exchange, they can only go ahead and trade if they are 100% physically backed by the crypto they're tracking. For now, this will mean that any Bitcoin ETN or Ethereum ETN will have to be backed up 100% by the currency itself. Also, as a further requirement, which you can read for yourself on this crypto ETN admission fact sheet from the London Stock Exchange, providers must have the crypto held in cold storage too. Now, this is really good news for investors, and it does clarify concerns that some of you had in my previous video that an exchange traded note could just effectively disappear and take all of the money with it. As a side note, some of the big providers will share publicly exactly how much crypto they're holding and how much people are currently invested into their products.
Yep.
Now, I did want to clarify that this doesn't mean that this investment carries no risk or that you're somehow guaranteed to make money. This investment, just like any other, will always put your capital at risk, and I've got no doubt that this type of investment is going to be very volatile. So I know I say this quite a lot, but remember, I'm not your financial advisor, neither am I qualified in any way to give financial advice. I'm just sharing my own thoughts, opinions, and also publicly available information. I think you'll also see the providers here be very careful with any wording or any marketing of these products, and the platforms themselves also have to make you take a short multiple choice quiz before you even get access to them as well. We're in quite new territory here, and I think there are lots of moving parts. Nobody really knows how this is going to play out, but hopefully it's the first step toward making crypto a lot more mainstream. I think there'll be a lot of interest from people who prefer to invest in Bitcoin, for example, without having to worry about making a wallet, choosing a platform, and then concerning themselves about where to store it or how this thing actually works. I think there'll always be people who will prefer to keep their crypto completely outside of the financial system, and that's completely fair enough. But I think most people just want to have access to this asset in accounts that they're already familiar with. Now, I'll definitely be really interested to see just how popular these things are, because I think the latest stats show that something like 1 in 4 people in the UK own Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency at the moment, which is way more people than those that have a stocks and shares ISA. Also, I think the biggest selling point for me is being able to invest inside an ISA or a pension, as any potential growth is tax-free.
Yep.
And with an ISA especially, you've got nothing to worry about at all in terms of taxes when you want to sell, whether that's a year from now or 10 years from now. For a lot of people, I think that tax-free element will be a huge driver to invest and potentially sell some of their existing holdings on other platforms to rebuy them again using an ETN. I'd definitely be interested if you plan on doing this, so please keep the conversation going in the comment section below. I'm always interested to hear your thoughts on this, especially with that clarification from HMRC as well. Now, in terms of what funds you can buy and what providers have ETNs available today,
Yep.
I'm not going to cover the specific funds and the specific providers, but there are quite a few I can see on the market. The main thing, as with any investment, is that you fully understand what you're buying and what the costs are too. Make sure that you read any key information documents on any fund and you ensure that you're happy with the level of risks you're taking. Now, on a positive note, there are some options out there with very low fees I think I'm personally going to invest a little bit of my own money in. If you think it's worth doing a bit of a deeper dive or comparison on some of these funds that are available, do let me know and I can look at this as a potential video idea. Obviously, I'm not here to promote any brand or specific fund, and I've never once been paid to make any video here on YouTube, and I'd like to keep it that way so I can remain objective. Again, like...
Okay, buddy. Well, very interesting. Oh my goodness, this is got me thinking, got my brain going. Tax-free crypto. Finally. Okay, so that's all there. I kind of listed these up. There's one video I didn't actually get to, but I think just to protect my voice and my energy and stuff, I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, so we'll add some more videos to that list later. All right, let's get this back. Okay, so let's see some of the comments here. Luca said, "Bro, your take about the far left and the far right acting similarly doesn't offend. It's just not realistic. Scales and degrees, my man." I think what you mean by scales and degrees is that everyone's different, and I would agree with you. Everyone reacts differently to different things, but I think if you blanket statement, there are similar levels of emotional response on the far left and the far right. So in that capacity, they do operate similarly. It's almost like I really, let me just get a drawing thing up. I really don't think I'm being controversial. I really don't. I think this is just sensible. Let me explain what I'm thinking. Okay, so we did my far left thing. Oh, it's already here. It's already here, but let me draw it again. So you've got the left, which is here. Then you've got the right, and that's here. So if we say that the y-axis, that's this long one on the side, the y-axis is emotional, how can we say it? Let's call it emotional reaction. Okay, so we've got the emotional reaction here on the x-axis and on the y-axis, and the x-axis is obviously like the leaning politically, right? So what I think you have is, if we have the middle right here, oh, come on, that's the middle. What you get is, when there are differences in opinion, you get an emotional scale that looks like this. Okay? So I think if you're on the far left and you hear a difference in opinion that's not, very close to yours, your emotional reaction to that will be strong. Equally, if you're on the far right and you hear an opinion that's not that close to yours, your emotional reaction will be strong. But the golden zone, and where I say the golden zone, where I like to operate is, and I like to operate here in everything. So let's put this as gold. This is the golden zone. I like to operate in the golden zone. Stay emotionless, all of that stuff. I like to I can hear a difference in opinion. I can hear an opinion over here far left. I can hear an opinion far right. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to react crazy to it. I'm in the golden zone here. As Bullseye said, I'm logical middle. I do think there is a correlation between, like, the further away from the golden zone you are, the less rational you are. And the closer to the golden zone you are, the more rational you are. I don't think that's controversial. I just think that's like human nature. So I think that's natural. When you get the extremes, you also get extremes in emotion, an emotional response. I just see that. That's observable reality. I just see that playing, that exists. And I'm not necessarily always talking about political here. I'm talking about anything. You got XRP maxi, and then on the other side, anti-XRP maxi. Like, there's a place in the middle where you can be logical and see both sides. And you can even, look, as you can see here, you can lean to one side within the golden zone and still be rational. That's where I am. I'm not telling you where you should be, but I know everyone's different, but if we're blanket statementing people, maybe we shouldn't do that. That's how I think about it. All right. So with that said, I think this stream was a lot better. A lot better. And I will see you... Well, so basically what we've got tomorrow is, if my daughter's had a good day today, she went to like a sports club today because they're off school. If she had a good time, she'll go back to the sports club tomorrow. If she didn't have a good time, I will take the day off and spend the day with my daughter and just do something fun. And I will stream a little bit later in the day than normal. But I enjoyed this. Thank you very much for listening. Thanks for listening in the background if you are. And stay emotionless. I'll see you in the next one.